What would women dislike most if they became men? I'm 6'1", 265 pounds, brown, bald. No one has sat next to me on a bus in years. A child refused to sit next to me on a flight once and threw a tantrum about it. I ignored her the entire time, but oof, that hurt. I cried watching Coco. Yeah, recently a crying lost child came up to me at the store and grabbed onto my leg. Before I could even react to this, the mother came around the aisle and screamed at me, "Leave my baby alone," as if I'd done something. The looks I got from the other shoppers, I genuinely feared a vigilante mob awaiting me as I left for literally nothing. People are harsh. Oof. I had something similar happen to me in an apartment complex. I was moving laundry at the on-site and found a 6-year-old crying and walking through the parking lot around 10 p.m. Poor kid had his mother flip on him and told him to walk to his dad's, wherever the fuck that was. He had no shoes and sobbing with his blankie. As I'm comforting him, his mom obviously came to her sense and came storming and screaming at me. Luckily, I had asked the kid what apartment he was from and sent the cops over there. Still think about that boy sometimes. I bet even if security showed her a picture of her child grabbing onto you, she'd still argue that you must have done something to prompt it. That would be a coincidentally terrible day to go shopping for candy and teddy bears. What a bad day to drive a white van. I know the feeling. One time an old white lady came up to me randomly and asked me to help carry her bags onto the bus. I lived off that high for days. As a big black man, I'm used to being followed around in shops, people crossing the road when they see me walking toward them, random police searches, pearl clutching, etc. One time a dude came up to me and tried to get me to stop seeing his friend because he thought black men treat white women like trash, and he's just looking out for his friend. I'm still friends with that girl today. As a colored man too, it feels awesome to have people look to you for help, when they could just as easily choose a white man. Not trying to make it about race, but at the end of the day, it's part of what it boils down to. I love when other humans can look past my physically dark exterior and see me for being just a human as they are, especially when they need help. Feels great to help out. Being treated like a second-rate parent even if you're the only parent. I'll need to get an okay from her mom before I can cut her hair. Well, she's dead, so I don't know how that's going to work. My brother lost his wife 2 years ago, and we've had a few instances like this. Boy, people pucker right up when you tell them that. People in general react viscerally to the word dead. My mother hated euphemisms for death, so as a sort of way of respecting her wishes, if it comes up, I always say, "My mother is dead." And boy, people flinch, and then usually assume we did not have a positive relationship. People really do hate the word dead. People don't die anymore. They pass away, or they're lost. Well, facts are facts, they're still frickin' dead. People thinking you're a pedo when you're watching your own kid at the park. When my son was in diapers, I lived in Germany, and often ventured around other parts of Europe. No fucking changing tables anywhere in men's restrooms. So frustrating when you're just, trying to be a dad and take care of your poopy child. I moved back to the US when my daughter was 3 months old, and holy shit, it is so much better here for that. I changed my daughter's poopy diaper on the hostess desk of a restaurant because they refused me access to the women's restroom, which had a changing table. A month later, they had installed one in the men's bathroom. My fiancé and I went to a zoo over the summer. We were both shocked to learn that the men's room was the only one with a changing table. My flabbers were absolutely gasted. How often they'll be asked to do manual labor, even if it has nothing to do with their work, because you're the guy on the team. As the dad of the family, here are things that, instead of other people fixing, they just tell me about and expect sometime that stuff to be fixed. Clogged toilet. Apparently only men can hold a plunger. Clogged sink. Only men can snake out a drain. Broken car. Only men can call a mechanic. Spider. Only men can capture spiders. Dog poo on lawn. Only men can pick up dog poo. Bumps in the night. Only men can walk to their own doom in the middle of the night. You may go a year or 10 without a single compliment. Many men are laying in their casket before many good things are ever said about them. I had a woman compliment my parallel parking skills 30 years ago. I can tell you when and where. Thanks for the upvotes. It was an overcast day but not cold, 19.5 degrees Celsius, I believe. Gas was $1.22, and I'd just bought a sack of onions, one to keep on my belt, which was the style at the time. The societal expectation to always be the provider or to have a successful career could be exhausting. And combine that with the inability to open up about anything. I once had a GF get mad at me for not being more open with my feelings. Then I told her about how shitty my workday was and she asked if I was gay. Fucking A can't even complain about a rough day at work. Loneliness. Related to this is lack of compliments and sympathy from people. Plus, not being able to show as much emotion unless you want people to think you're weak. This is the answer. I remember reading something about a woman deciding to try and live as a man for a year as an experiment, and she became borderline suicidal from the loneliness. People being afraid of you for nothing you have done. 6 feet 3 inches, 300 pounds, I hate it. I like going on walking trails, and I can feel the tension in the air whenever I walk past people. I'm not going to grab you and eat you. I hardly say hello or acknowledge people anymore because one of the last times I did, the woman jumped in terror. I get it. It's the world we live in. But I feel like Shrek. I got pepper sprayed once for following a woman off the bus, the 4 following blocks, and then approaching her when she went into a yard, onto a porch, and pulled keys out. It was my porch. We had the same route home, and she picked my porch hoping I'd walk past. My confused "can I help you" put her into fight-flight. In hindsight, I get it, but damned if I know what I should have done. Random body hair appearing everywhere. Like, I did not sign up for this werewolf life. Except your head only tries to get rid of the only good-looking hair you had. Dealing with performance anxiety and losing an erection would probably be one of the toughest experiences for women if they became men. Or getting rejected for sex. There's come a moment in every one of my long-term relationships where I didn't want to when my girl was asking, and they frankly do not know how to take it, and I'm like, "Girl, you turned me down like 4 times just this month, and I'm not allowed to be tired on a Tuesday?" Oh yeah. In my experience, women in relationships do not take sexual rejection well from their partners. I've had to explain to a grown-ass 35-year-old girlfriend that me not being in the mood literally has nothing to do with her desirability, and that it is absolutely not fair to me to be upset at me about that. She actually admitted that yes, it's true that she doesn't handle sexual rejection well, because it's hard for her to understand that a guy wouldn't want sex. So she takes it personally, 35 years old with a lot of experience. You're screwed if woman accuses you of some violation. Happened to me at work. I work mostly with women, so everyone turned away without telling me what happened. People didn't want to work with me, were saying they're scared of me, etc. Turns out some old lady said I violated her physically on out night shift. Why did she say that? No idea. Maybe bad dream, maybe she's just a bitch. Thing is, I'm gay, and she didn't know that, so it all turned against her. But if I didn't have this go out of a jail card, my life would have been ruined. Oh, in case you're wondering, she faced 0 consequences. I had this happen in my marriage. My wife met a man where she worked and ended up having an affair. She wanted a divorce, and instead of telling people she found someone new, she told everyone I beat her. I never did. Try and tell that to people, and they look at you like you're lying. Everyone felt sorry for her, and I was ostracized. Being a man isn't just about the outward traits we often see on the surface. It's about deep societal expectations, invisible barriers, and sometimes a loneliness that is rarely talked about. Each of these men is an individual facing challenges that few people ever consider. But in the end, regardless of whether we are men or women, we all want to be understood, recognized, and accepted for who we truly are. Let's learn to understand each other better, to support and help one another. Subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, share your thoughts in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video.